Fix government, build peace. Fix government, build peace. I have a 7-track strategy to do just that. It's certainly my message, it may be my platform, and it's something I've been passionate about for many, many years. Now it turns out, and this won't surprise you at all, it's way harder to fix government than it is to build peace. Maybe because in our hearts, none of us want to leave our children and grandchildren a damaged country forever in conflict or a damaged planet forever at war. So we have that in common. Fixing government, on the other hand, is a lot harder. There's so many dynamics getting in the way. So I have 6 tracks to fix government and 1 track to build peace. And I'm going to say something about each of those tracks. Track 1. Cut the cost of government by 30%. I believe that at least 30% of the budget of the federal government is due to the friction of bad bureaucracy. So cutting the waste in government means cutting red tape inside and out. It means dealing with all the programs that are duplicated in agencies and after agencies. And it means streamlining the guidelines and the processes and the principles that we ask people inside government to follow. Track 1, cut the cost of government by 30%, means simply get the waste out of bureaucracies and give the savings back to communities. Track 2, multiply solutions. There are fantastic programs all over this country, in towns and cities, on tribal lands, in regions that cross state boundaries, all over the place. There are programs that are helping kids that are at risk of dropping out of school. There are programs helping young people that are at risk of going to jail. There are programs that are decreasing teenage pregnancy. There are programs that are driving down domestic violence. There are communities that have worked out ways so that being poor doesn't necessarily mean you have to be sick all the time. The problem is not the solutions. We have solutions all over the place. The problem is the federal government gets in the way of the solutions. Track 3, fix government. Well, this is a little more complicated than just cutting red tape. There's a lot here. It's regulatory reform, tax reform, trade reform, fiscal reform, immigration reform, criminal justice sentencing reform. There's a lot of pieces here, and I think 2 parts really stand out. First is that I don't know what our federal agencies do anymore, and I don't believe that they know what their true purpose is anymore. So the first part is getting really, really clear about the primary purpose of each of our agencies and departments, and a great deal more clarity about priorities. And the only way that that can happen is in dialogue with the community. And the second part for fixing government in the 21st century means building the partnerships that need to be created. So we're working together across government, and we're working together with partners in the community, with businesses, with nonprofits, and with all levels of government. So track 3, fix government. Track 4, coordinate across government. This is a little obscure, and all I want to say is there are currently no permanent structures to coordinate across government programs, to coordinate planning, to coordinate budgeting, to coordinate evaluation of programs that cross agency boundaries. This is important because if we are, for example, going to do anything about creating more 21st century jobs, the U.S. Department of Labor and the U.S. Department of Education are going to have to coordinate with each other. No structures in place to do that at any level of government. Track 5, communication, with all of its tools, from personal to digital, and plain language rules. The most important piece about communication is having serious, formal conversations with America. The federal government, a long time ago, used to do some of that and hasn't done it for decades and decades. The federal government needs to sponsor conversations with America, town halls, citizen summits, and listen and get feedback about our programs and our priorities. Track 6, measure what matters. This is also a little wonky. We need to look at what federal agencies and departments are measuring, because generally what they measure is completely out of touch with what the American public wants. And sometimes the measures themselves are really misleading. So what is the unemployment rate? We say it's less than 6%, but it's actually closer to 14% for young Americans. It's almost 21% for the African American community. And summertime, when people want jobs, when students want jobs, sometimes as many as 92% cannot find a job. Track 7, build peace. Turn anger and hatred to solutions. Now, I am not naive. I'm no innocent. I know there are people out there that want to hurt us. I know there are people in our communities, in the workplace, in our schools, and in our homes that are so angry they are being abusive and doing damage. I know all that. Still, what I'm calling for is a balanced approach. We need to balance national security with peace talks and truces and ceasefires. We need to balance security and safety at home with citizen summits, with community dialogue. We need warriors and we need peace builders. We need peace officers and police officers. A balanced approach. I'm calling for a balanced approach. So that's my plan, a 7-track strategy. I hope I said it clearly and credibly, because the song I sing, without any argument, building peace requires fixing government. Thank you.